All right, y'all, welcome back. We're on the final quiz of the Module 4, which is cybersecurity. Mind you, this is 20 questions. You need an 80 to pass, but my questions are going to be different than yours. That's how these very last ones work. It might even be the same for 4.5. Let's go ahead and jump into it. I'm still going to talk about these topics because it's important to know. Which feature allows you to open several websites in one browser window, and that is browser tabs. I have several tabs here. Which of the following is a short-term storage device? In this case, what it means is, I hate the word storage in terms of RAM. But I guess you have to think about the concept a little more out there. You are storing stuff in the RAM temporarily. And it's honestly a process no different than storing it in a hard disk. But yes, this is the correct answer. The RAM, these all, a disk, a hard disk, and a flash drive all store stuff permanently. What is the highest risk of keeping your passwords in a document on your computer? The document might get hacked. Hacked does not have to be the super crazy, it doesn't have to be the super crazy they open up this and they're typing SSH, blah blah blah. Hacking can quite literally just be getting on someone else's computer, maybe guessing the password. Which of the following uses persistent flash memory chips to store data? That should be SSDs. It's a little bit of a complicated topic, but hard disk drives use magnetic platters. SSDs actually use the same technology from flash drives, but they're a little more sophisticated. They're a little bit more refined in their technology, whereas flash drives are kind of a dime a dozen. So, yes. What criteria does a simple firewall use besides source and destination? And that is protocol. Firewalls typically keep everything out that is not requested by you, by a device in the network. The only real exception to this is if you run a server on your network, which I do at home. I can show you that very quickly. No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to for security reasons. But the reason for that is when you open up the server and you want to access it from outside of your home, you have to open up your ports, or you have to do like a reverse proxy. And that is basically allowing requests from the outside to go inside. Which of the following is an example of something you know? A passphrase? Yeah, because I guess you can't know your fingerprint, know your hardware token. I mean, you could technically. And you can't know your own facial recognition. A passphrase would be the only answer there. Because, I mean, really, if you look at it, it's one of these is not like the other anyways. What is the main risk of using a password manager? Passwords using reversible encryption. master password is compromised, that one. A password manager is, I'm sure you guys have logged into something nowadays, and it asks you, do you want to save this password, or do you want to create a password for this account? And you can hit save, and all of that is locked behind either a Google account, some type of account, or it's locked behind just a password locally on your browser. And if you have that password, you have access to every single other password. What is the most common type of connector used for coaxial cables? And that is the F-type connector. That is really effective memorization. But you should know USB is used commonly for peripheral devices, mice, keyboards, webcams, all that stuff. HDMI is for displays, so from computer to a display like a monitor, TV, because it broadcasts audio as well. And then Ethernet is for internet connection, transfers data like from your modem or your router to your computer. An F-type connector will connect specifically to either a TV, which translates that data on its own. Really, more than likely, it's a cable box, or it goes to a modem, which gets translated to bits and bytes. Then it goes over Ethernet. So it is the F-type connector. And I can go ahead and pull up a picture. It is one of these, which I'm sure you're familiar with. It's the ones that twist on. I wish we had connectors like that nowadays. What does the respond function in the NIST cybersecurity framework involve? It probably means identifying and eliminating threats, responding to malicious action. Like a first responder, like a fireman responds to fires, right? So a cybersecurity admin would respond to threats. While playing an online game, Chris receives a message from another player asking for their full name and home address to send a prize. Should Chris provide this information? No, Chris should not provide this information. You do not know what people are going to do over the internet with your information. It could be as harmless as sending you a pizza, or it can be as harmful as getting your house swatted. It is that serious. It does happen quite a bit, and really, you shouldn't be talking to people that aren't friendly online. Yeah. Why is it important to keep the operating system and application software current on patches? It improves security and functionality. What is a VPN? It is a secured connection over the internet. All it does is a VPN has a client and a server. There has to be a server serving that connection over the internet. So my home has a home server that I've set up that I can connect to through a VPN. And all it does is all my traffic will go to my home server, no matter if I'm at Starbucks or which I'm not, I'm boycotting them, or if I'm at work, right? I can connect to that VPN and connect to my home network. More specifically, I can connect to my home server. And all the traffic from my device, my phone, my laptop, gets encrypted from my device to my home server, no matter where I am. Meaning nobody can look at what I'm doing. And then let's say I want to go to youtube.com. Well, I will say, hey, VPN server, I want to go to youtube.com, it'll go to youtube.com for me, acting in place of me, meaning that nobody can really know where I am at all times. They just assume I'm at home because that's what it looks like through my VPN. Now, I'm pretty sure, yeah, they can see where I'm going from my home network, but they can't technically like prove I'm illegally downloading movies or books, right? Because it's all encrypted. They could assume I am, but assuming doesn't hold under the law. Now, that's where paid VPN services come through, and you pay an external service to host the VPN for you off of your network, and they have their own network service. And they can't even prove that it's you that might be installing, pirated games or pirated software. That is the purpose of a VPN. What is the primary function of output devices connected to a computer? To display or produce the result of a computer's processes to the user. Yeah. The computer, I say this all the time, does not do a single thing until you input something, and then when you do input something, it displays that on an output. Right? So the primary way to think about this for people that can see is when I move the mouse, it moves the cursor. Simple as that, right? But if I leave the mouse there, nothing happens. Everything will stay the exact same as long as this device has power. Okay, which of the following actions can be performed using the address bar? It can be searching the web, and it can be using a URL to navigate to a website. Technically, you can view the browsing history, open the browser settings, bookmark the pages through the address bar, but the primary function, because it's select two, you have to select the best two, is search the web and use the URL to navigate to a website, which is just going to facebook.com, like typing facebook.com. How do browser profiles help when using multiple devices? They synchronize your settings and bookmarks across all devices, and a lot of times even search history, YouTube watch history, things like that. Oh, there goes my bird. I'm gonna try and get this done. Excuse me. Okay, which of the following are optical storage devices? Well, there she goes. She wants some attention. She hears me and she's like, "Oh, why are you not talking to me? Why are you not playing with me?" But I will go spend some time with her after this video. Which of the following are optical storage devices? Select 3. I'm gonna go with the obvious: CD, Blu-ray, DVD, and those are definitely correct. How these work is you quite literally take a laser and burn into these discs. It's like a film. It might be 2 pieces of film, like 2 plies of film, and you quite literally burn bits and bytes into the discs. What is smishing? It is phishing through SMS and text messages. How can you save a web page link for easy access later by using a browser feature? By bookmarking it. There's usually a little star that you click on and it'll save that for later. And which of the following best describes a smart doorbell? Yes, it allows video footage to be recorded or accessed via apps on smartphones. What should you do if you hear about a data breach at a company where you have an account? You should change your password immediately. You should change every password that uses, or every account that uses that password should change the password on those. Let's go ahead and score. That is 100%. Thank you guys. I will see y'all in the next video.